Today is very special, especially because it's one of the first in our series of sports talks that we are doing. This is a lot about sports and education. Most of us have seen sports as from the player's perspective, and now that sports is such a budding field, and there is so much of sports management, there's sports business, there is sports analysis, there is just so much to sports, and which is why we are go beyond sports, and we are going beyond just the active play of sport into what really makes it, and which is why we have Dr. Vipul Lonawat today from the ISST Institute in Pune, and we're going to have him shortly to have a lot of chat, a lot of questions in regards to what really makes sports management, and how do you go about getting your degree in sports, and what is it that he has done special in the institute to really bring it across to everybody. So encouragement, in fact, through sports is something that I have been bringing to you via Go Beyond Sports since 2019, and extremely proud to say that our YouTube channel is full of episodes that you might enjoy watching. I'd like to welcome our guest today, Dr. Vipul Lonawat. Dr. Vipul Lonawat is the director at the Institute of Sports Science and Technology, ISST Pune. He is a PhD in sports management. He is a level 02 coaching certification from Australian Ice Racing in short track speed ice skating, certified by the Olympic Solidarity Program. He is also the winner of Physical Education Foundation of India National Award 2018 for Excellence and Leadership in Sports. A warm welcome, Dr. Lonawat. Thank you so much for joining us. It's a pleasure seeing you.
Beautiful evening, Sonali, and all the viewers today on this talk show. And I'm very much happy to join you here, discuss sports. Sports is something which excites all of us. And before we begin, I must congratulate you for the amazing work you're doing through Go Beyond Sports. And, we need so many people like you to promote sports in India and, make India a sporting nation. So a big, thank you to you for this wonderful initiative.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vipul, and I must say likewise. And jumping straight to that, sports management today is such a huge backbone to the sports industry and the sports players for India. However, I'm going to begin with this question that I really like to ask all my guests: is why sports? What really made you choose sports, and then what made you choose go behind the scenes with sports?
I think everyone does, his or her work, with some liking or some passion, which either they have experienced in their, education years or, in the childhood. So from the childhood years, I was into sports. My mother has been a national basketball athlete, a gold medalist, in fact. And so you can say sports runs in my family. In my blood, you can say. So, my mother always pushed me to get involved in different sports. I have played basketball, I have played cricket. Eventually, I went to play skating, roller skating, and then we moved on to ice skating since it is a Winter Olympic sport. So, obviously, sports has been something which I have been doing since a very young age. And when I myself experienced a lot of differences in how sport is being managed, I thought we should do something to to uplift that thing and bridge that gap between the players, the athletes, and the management, or the governance, you can say.
So then, can I ask you this question: is what really is sports management then? And with your vast expertise, I'm sure you'd be the best person to educate us. So when we've kind of all heard this term sports management, but what really constitutes this? What really is behind the scene?
Yeah, there is a sports management. It's a very generic term, if you say, because management in short relates to everything, right from athlete management to event management to stadium management to managing the performance of athletes to getting their apparel ready or fan engagement using technology. So everything comes under sports management. You can also say all businesses require marketing, financial management, accounting, strategic management, management of legal things. Then they have, there is a subject called entrepreneurship development, wherein you promote new startups. So all this is under sports management. Most of the people feel sports management is just event management. Rather,
Right.
event management is a very small part of sports management.
Right.
Yeah. So
So
sports
what is it?
management.
What is it? Sorry. So and I'm really very intrigued now. So what is it that happens at ISST? What are the subjects that kind of make up sports management there? So how is it different than when you say that it's different from event management?
So when we say the term sports management, first at ISST we introduce them to the concept of what is management, basic management, and what is sports. So we have different, classification of sports. How are the sports classified? How it is looked at it in India? So in India, you can see there are two basic, bifurcations in sports. One is physical education, which is taught in schools, and to do with only physical fitness, nothing to do with athlete performance or winning
Right.
medals. And then
Right.
when we talk about sports, it is more about playing a sport, playing a specific sport, winning medals, or achieving heights in that. So basically, when we introduce students the concept of sports management at ISST, we tell them how management is required to manage the big industry which sports is. So we take few case studies like the IPL, which is one of the biggest leagues in the world, in fact. So
Right.
how the IPL is managed, and there are so many other examples which we can teach the
Right.
students with. Yeah.
So then, can I ask you, where does India really stand in terms of sports management? And are we really out there in terms of, do we have the standards, the international standards, when you talk about sports management?
See, when you talk about sports management, the IPL began in the year 2008, and you won't
Right.
believe after the IPL started, till date we have got around 17 plus leagues in India. So
Yeah.
you can see the amount of the amount
So
of
the ripple
people
effect
involved.
that it's
Yeah, yeah,
had.
yeah, yeah. The IPL has, in fact, introduced a league culture in India, and
Right.
we've got so many other sports. For example, take Pro Kabaddi, for example. Kabaddi
Right.
was not a very spectator friendly sport, and now today everyone is thrilled to watch Pro Kabaddi.
Right.
And
And yes, and I
when
think like what you were
yeah.
getting at was this, was this kind of job opportunities that these leagues create, right, for different aspects of sports. So is that
Yeah.
something also that's kind of taught in an institute?
I think I would like to put my point of view in this specific area. When we say leagues are run only for 2 or 3 months, and
Right.
the job opportunities which these leagues create are only for a select few core team members of that particular team. But
Right.
when we see, for example, when we say Pro Kabaddi League, because of Pro
Right.
Kabaddi League, many people have shown interest in joining Kabaddi as a sport.
Right.
Or if we
Right.
say ISL, the football league, so many
Yes.
people have shown interest in joining football. So because of
Right.
this league, what has happened is it has boosted a lot of participation. So
Right.
once the participation has been boosted, many clubs have opened up. There is a requirement of coaches. When we have coaches, then we need managers to manage that club. When we
Right.
have new teams coming up, we need physios, we need nutritionists, we need
Right.
psychologists. So this is how the job openings or opportunities have come up. Leagues are just a catalyst to start the job openings. The leagues don't provide full time job openings.
So tell me
So
something. I'm sorry. So
yeah.
just so I want to know, is there enough awareness of all of these within people? Like, how do you educate them to know that there are these fields in sports management that you can really come to and learn and actually sort of get a degree by itself in something like that?
So basically, when a student comes to ISST, we first counsel them whether they want to get on the management side of the sport, or do they want to work with athletes. So when you
Right.
say working with athletes to improve their performance, it goes more towards the sports science side, which
Right.
itself is a small part of sports management. Again, you can have it under the bigger umbrella of sports management. But then
Right.
there's a big differentiation here, because when we say sports sciences, it is nothing to do with the business of sports. It is
Got it.
specifically to do with how an athlete performs and what should be done to improve the athlete's performance. And when we
Right.
talk about sports management, it is all about business of sports. How much money
Got it.
comes in? How do we get more sponsors? What is the
Right.
accounting to be done? What is the strategy management which goes behind that? So all these
Right.
topics come under sports management.
Right. And then would you say that, and so is all of this available under one umbrella at ISST?
Yeah, so once the student is very clear about where he wants to go, if does he want to go into the working with athletes side, or does he want to work in the back end of managing sports? So then we have different programs. So
Right.
for
Got
example,
it.
someone who's a 12th pass student, he can do the
Right.
BBA 3-year degree program which we have.
Right. So, I mean, this is very interesting, right? Because we've come as a country from the arts, science, commerce
Yeah.
into the BBA and the BBMs and all of this. And now we kind of have sports as an absolute ongoing a degree. So for everyone who has this passion, I really wish this was something that I could have learned much, much earlier. So how and then how are these degrees? Like, are they accredited? Is there something that they can pursue further? Do they get picked up? I mean, are there enough job opportunities? Is there enough for sports in India happening right now?
I think there's a lot of development happening in sports with the current sports minister, Mr. Kiran Rijiju.
Yes,
He's really developing
brilliant.
sports very
Yes,
nicely, and they have a very strong long-term goal in place. So they are not just
right.
thinking of what is to be done for the next Olympics. They have planned for the next two Olympics. So
Wow.
when we see a leader, a person, a personality, thinking about the
Yes,
future, then we have a very good roadmap on how we should achieve that. And if you
right.
see, there are so many corporates now. You see Tata, you see
Yes.
your Reliance,
Standard
so many.
Chartered.
Standard Chartered, JSW.
Yes,
So all these
yes,
corporates have started investing in sport, which is a very good thing. And sports
yes.
itself is a very exciting thing. We see celebrities involved. We see big people involved.
Yes. So,
Investing money in sport.
finally, sports has come out of being the foundation and the NGO working
Yeah, yeah,
into actually being a full-fledged business. And I think that's kind of great news
yeah,
for all of us. Tell me
yeah.
something. You are a national medalist in inline skating,
Uh-huh.
and then you said that you kind of moved on to Winter Olympic ice skating.
Ice skating. Yeah.
Um, Tell us more about both these things. I mean, how similar are they to each
So
other, and then what really made you switch also?
see, when I was myself, competing as an athlete, we never had the chance of play skating on ice in India because we don't have ice here. Apart from that, in Ladakh and Jammu and all those areas, we don't have
Right.
ice rinks over here in India. So we used to
Right.
train on roads on roller skates, and roller skating is still not in Olympics. And
Right.
then when we got to know that there's a new sport, ice skating, which is one of the biggest sports in Winter Olympics. Then we thought, why not
Right.
switch our skaters, or say by that time I had started coaching. So why not
Uh-huh.
switch to ice skating, which is a Winter Olympic sport and has got more promising future for than roller skating. So then I
Right.
myself, the basic technique is similar. Instead of skating on a track or a hard surface, you skate on ice. So you remove the
But tell
wheels
me
and
something. Very easily you say that it is very similar from a hard surface to ice, but aren't
uh,
these two very, very different atmospheres by itself? Like, what's the safety? I mean, I would say, okay, so what's the kind of safety difference between, say, ice being something so natural where you kind of just don't know about how it will turn out?
I think ice skating is much faster than roller skating is.
Hmm.
But then obviously, because of the speed associated with this sport, it is much more
Right.
attractive, and people love doing that. And obviously, when we teach students ice skating, we take care of all safety precautions. Obviously, it is a bit risky because we've seen big athletes, Olympic athletes, injuring themselves with deep wounds where they have blades
Yes.
cut into their bodies. So obviously, we have
Yes.
got all the safety measures in place when we coach ice
Yes,
skating.
so that was, I mean, I was going to be actually asking you, wanting to ask you this. So then, does it kind of not make it a very injury prone sport in a way? And is it
Uh,
difficult then to kind of learn the sport?
no, actually, it's not a very injury. If you do it with the right technique, I don't think it's an injury-prone sport. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been practiced all over the world. So it is
Right,
one of
right.
the most in the Europe or in the US also. It is one of the most.
Popular
If you see
sports, yes.
ice hockey is
Yes,
one of the most popular sports in
yes.
the world, in fact. So
Right.
obviously, every sport has their. If you see cricket, we've seen people dying on the field. But the ball hitting their head and dying. So every sport has its pros and cons, and I think what makes it exciting is the format of the sport. So ice skating
Right.
itself is very nice to watch. It's a fast sport, and it's fun to
Yes.
watch and skate on ice.
On the question of money, while we are talking about it being a cash rich sport, and of course the others are kind of now joining, hopefully joining hands with cricket. Do you think now in the current situation that we are
Mhm.
with our pre and post COVID kind of an era that starts, how do you think is the future of sports now vis-a-vis the kind of circulation of money or the sponsorship that could have been affected so much within this period?
I think, say, sports is the only thing which, if you see, there are so many industries which have still not started. The hotel industry, in fact, started few days back,
For
and
us, yes.
yeah, and even gyms have not started as yet in Maharashtra, and in many
Yes.
parts of the world as such. So in Australia, they were still in the lockdown period in the last week, I guess. So I
Right.
think sports is the only industry which is slowly starting again. You take the example of the IPL. They shifted the whole event to
So
Dubai.
when you're talking about bounce back,
Mhm.
what is it that you would like to see added to it?
See, obviously, until and unless we don't get the vaccine, we are not going to see spectators going in the stadiums and watching matches.
That's
Uh, uh,
like talk spoken like a
yeah,
doctor.
yeah. So what we are going to see is online education is booming now. We've seen training now. I am a coach. I conduct my sessions online. We've got
Right.
Zoom. We've got some other wonderful platforms. You see, IPL is broadcast on OTT applications.
Got it.
Hotstar is hosting IPL. So
Right.
obviously there is a way around all these difficulties which we are facing, and obviously sports industry has that flexibility. You can't expect to manufacture a car online, but sports can be done online. So this is the benefit our industry has,
So
that we can do still find a way around.
have you at ISST then also made a lot of changes? Well, while you have been primarily an online digital program, is there anything that you have had to make changes with, or this
I
has
think
been like the perfect time for you?
I think we've foreseen this since 8 years now. We've been in the online industry since 2012, 2011, in fact. So we've
Right.
got 17 odd programs, and in the lockdown period, there has not been a single day I have not worked. So I've
Wow.
been working constantly, and we've got phenomenal response for online education. And
Right.
people have now realized that online education is much more easier, cheaper. If you are really wanting to learn new things, online is a very good thing. We've got so many mediums now. We can do live sessions. We can do pre-shot videos. We can have interactive sessions.
Right.
Technology has really helped to facilitate all these so effectively. So I think online education, be it any field, even the schools have started online. So online
Right.
education is the next big thing.
So, but tell me something then. What then are the challenges that you actually face with online classes? Are people really ready to continue this as the future of education in a way?
I think it has to be a blend of online and offline. You can't just teach everything online, because the attention span of any individual is not more than 40, 50 minutes at a stretch.
Right.
Eventually you can't
At a
you
class.
at a class, even if you go for a movie, you have a break in 1.5 hours. So the
Right.
attention span is not more than 90 minutes. So I
Right.
think it's going to be a blend of online and offline education. What we've seen is initially the students do attend all lectures, and later on the attendance drops. So
Right.
obviously we
So
have to
how do you
combine
deal
it
with
with,
this?
say, we have to introduce different innovative things, like for example we call different celebrity speakers, or we have quizzes, or at some point of time we just don't go on with the lectures. We have interactive sessions. We want to know what they have to do in future. We understand what they want to do, so we try to
Right.
make it very fun types, let them enjoy what they are learning.
Right. So
So it
it's
shouldn't be
basically
very
trying to
monotonous. Yeah,
stimulate, yeah, it's like
yeah, yeah.
stimulating their learning abilities and their
Learning. Yeah.
inquisitiveness through what you're doing. Um, so tell me something, what is it about ISST that you would really want to highlight, as in the one thing that you really think makes it what it really is?
I think ISST, first of all, it's just a sports specific institute. We deal only in sports programs. We don't have like 10 programs. We have engineering, we have MBBS, we
Right.
have this, we have that. One thing which highlights ISST is it's a very sports centric institute. And we
Right.
are a student oriented institute, wherein we focus on what students get after they finish the program. It's not just the education part. It is how they will be placed, what kind of internships we can offer them,
Right.
what kind of support we can give them. Even I'll tell you, one of our practices is, if we get a job opening today, that is circulated to the first student who enrolled at ISST. So the student
Right.
who enrolled in 2011 still gets our emails for the job openings. So we stay
Wow.
connected in that way. So that is one
Right.
USP which we have. And this
Right.
has grown. Why ISST has grown is because we have kept that connect with the student. So usually
Got
if you
it.
see in institutes, once you take the certificate, we usually don't have any communication with the institute, but we
Right.
constantly
Right.
keep connecting with our students through emails, through different events. And this is
Right.
what highlights us from the
So
others.
tell me something then. Is this open to everyone, in the sense, of course, across the region, across the state, across countries?
Yeah. If you've seen, we've got many international students also who have
Right.
enrolled for our programs. So obviously,
Right.
we've got many people who connect with us, for different events, or sessions which they would want to do in their own country. So
Right.
yes.
I'm gonna jump into a question that I have of you. Is that what are the future opportunities for people taking up this program?
See, when we talk about sports management, if you see, there is a lot of development going on in the sports industry today. If you see, I don't know if you're following social media pages of our Sports Authority of India or the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports. The government is
Yes.
doing a lot to develop sports. They recently launched the new
Yes.
logo. So right from giving it a new
Yes.
identity, they are doing a lot of things. And
Right.
I believe the current government is a visionary government. They have long term goals, and with that, obviously, we'll need hundred such ISSTs to
True.
develop Olympic athletes and win medals at the Olympics. So I think there's a
Right.
lot
It's
of
about,
scope, a lot of
yes.
scope. Yeah, there's a lot of
Right.
scope, and like you say, there's a lot of sunshine for everyone. You should go
There
out in the
is.
sun and get tanned.
There is. So there is
Yeah.
one more question from Utkarsh, and this question was from Ayushi, and the next one is from Utkarsh, asking that, um, like you mentioned, so much theoretical knowledge is important in sports along with physical practice. How do
Mhm.
you kind of blend that with online education?
See, when we talk about sports management, you don't really actually have to do some physical activity. It is nothing to do with sports performance, like I mentioned in the beginning.
Right.
That goes into the sports science perspective. So when you talk
Got
about
it.
sports management, it is totally to do with the business of sports. How
Right.
you get, how you obviously, in a way, you have to manage the performance aspect of the athlete, but you are not directly linked to it. So you don't have to physically do some exercise or something like that.
As a coach, when
Mhm.
you are when you're looking at a player from the coaching perspective, and you're kind of looking at training a player, and these are also the two aspects of online education, like you explained, that one is a player management and one is sort of business management of it. Um, how do you kind of mix, or how do you distinguish between the two when you are out there? So when you are as a coach, you kind of are doing both, right? You're kind of not only looking after the player in a way and educating them and teaching them, but somewhere you are also looking after your own business as a coach, or as the academy that you run, or as the business that you run. So is there
Mhm.
something like this which kind of is there as a program, even for people who may not want to do a degree, who are already out there as a coach, or out there as
Mhm.
people in the industry, but they might want to just kind of educate themselves?
So we've got short programs like 6 months masters, sorry, 6 months diploma in sports management online programs.
Right.
We keep doing a lot of webinars for students who want to learn that extra knowledge. So
Right.
I myself take few sessions with all the students every year, wherein we teach them the practicalities of managing a sports business.
What is ISST doing for sports that are not as popular as, say, cricket or football?
See, when we talk about sports which are not popular, say for example ice skating, which is my sport. So
Right.
what I tell my my athletes or the parents of my athletes is we should not blame the government or the governance or whomsoever is managing the authority of this sport that they are not doing anything. I think we should form a structure. If you see, for example, you should see club structures in football in Europe. See Manchester
Yes.
United, see Real Madrid, or these big clubs, Barcelona and all. These are not governed by any government or any authority. They run their own clubs,
Right.
they buy their own athletes, they get their own sponsors. So I think I strongly believe we should develop a club culture in India wherein we support our own athletes, we generate funds for our own athletes, and we try to give them the best possible education and coaching.
How do you grow this awareness? How do you kind of bring in, like we say, like how do you bring in the participation? How do you grow the awareness? Of course, we can all talk about social media, and we can all talk about, how do you kind of convince people that there is something more for you in a non-popular sport? Because at the onset or the offset of it, like, people would say, hey, cricket is the most popular, you get a lot of money, let's go join that. Or say football, that's coming up. But what about these lesser known sports? Like, say we talk about skating. How do you convince people? How do you even get them aware? Like, there must be so many of, even the viewers who probably don't even know or aren't as aware of Winter Olympics or the sports that constitute Winter Olympics.
I think one example I'll give you how we've grown. So we started our sports academy with two students, which I myself
Wow.
coached in skating. Today, our academy has more than 380 students. Because of the
Wow.
pandemic, we are not running right now, but we before the COVID thing started, we had around 380 400 students in the span of
Wow.
say 4 years. And the
Wow.
only reason I could grow participation was because I did a lot of events. And I
Got it.
always tell all my coaches it is not about the 1 hour of coaching you give them, it is about the experience you give them. Those
Right.
parents should feel that their child should join in more than the parent. The child should say, go and tell his parent, nahi, mujhe jana hi hai. I want to go and join this. Even if the
Right.
parent says, nahi, nahi, I don't want to, we are going out for a vacation. But the child should say, no, I don't want to come to the vacation. I want to go. So this is the kind
Got
of
it.
experience. If you are able to successfully deliver that, I think there is no stopping for any sport to grow. Because we've seen ice skating, I'll tell you, we started with 2 3 athletes. Today, we won 19 medals last year in the Southeast Asian Games at Singapore. 19 medals
Wow.
from my club, from the Indian national team. We won 19 medals for my club. So I
That's
think every
amazing.
year the participation is growing, and it is because of the events and the experiences we give to the athletes and their parents. That is very
Right.
important.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And in fact, on that note, I would like to say thank you so much for, all of this knowledge that you have given us, the chance, to understand what really goes behind the scenes with sports
Yeah.
players, sports
Yeah.
management. Thank you so much, Dr. Vipul, for being on show with us. And thank you again to everybody who's online with us. Thank you so much for watching and keep supporting. And like even Dr. Vipul is mentioning that, the only way to do this is to increase awareness. But with awareness also comes a lot of support from the people who kind of participate. And that's where everybody on the other side of this live chat really matters, because it's your participation and your likes and your support that really makes us who we are. So once again, continue doing that. Do follow Go Beyond Sports. Do look into ISST. ISST's programs are also a part of Go Beyond Sports platform. We are also offering a discount from Go Beyond Sports for everybody who's joining in with a little few freebies. So, it's a great way to know that we are supporting something which is actually contributing towards the growth of sports and people who are connected to sports. So thank you so much once again, Dr. Vipul, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Sonali. Many thanks to all the viewers for joining
Thank
in.
you.
And it's been a pleasure. Wish you a very good evening and
Thank
have
you.
a great day ahead. Yeah.